Okay, welcome, Tunisian Sampler Shawl Club. Today is, let's see, is this we've done one, two, three, four, five, six. This is our sixth meeting. So we're halfway through our shawl. Today we're going to be doing section 7, Honeycomb. So, like last week, this is going to go pretty quick because it's pretty easy. Now that we've learned some stitches, now it's some combinations of stitches. So there's Rocky. I knew she would show
Yes.
up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Just an FYI, I'll be getting off by 6:30. I have another call.
Oh, well, we're going to be done long before then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Carolyn came to class this morning. She was here at 10:03 and she left at 10:15.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, okay, see ya, bye. I tried to offer to teach it to her last week. She's like, nah, I need to get out of the house. I'm like, no, it's really short. She's like, "You're welcome." I'm like, oh, that was really short. Yeah. Okay, so let me go to my camera here. There we go. And let's turn. All right. So here's my little my little shawl sampler here. So the sides are starting to get a little too long, so I have moved my new center here. So we'll start to build a new little triangle here. Um, I have already done my transition row in my new color. The transition row was just to do the reverse stitch. And I don't even think I did that. I think I ended up just doing a simple stitch, but you know, you just got to get to your new color. Okay, honeycomb. So the honeycomb is a combination of stitches that we have already learned. I'm going to zoom in just a little here. There we go. Combinations of stitches we've already learned. It is a combination of the purl stitch and the simple stitch. Okay. And let me show you the finished piece. Here we go. So you're going to get these little honeycomb shapes going in here. So what will happen is each row you will alternate purl, then simple, purl, then simple. And then on the next row, you're still going to do purl, then simple, purl, then simple. But because we have increases, it will make them offset. So when you come to a previously purled stitch, you will put a simple on top of it and vice versa. Okay. So you'll get, and that's what gives you the honeycomb effect. If you come across and you're putting simple stitches on top of simple stitches, it won't look like this. Okay. So that's kind of the key to this here. So you know what? My son keeps texting me. Let me silence my phone. There we go. Okay. So start as usual with a full stitch. And then you're going to start with a purl in the first. So bring that yarn forward and then bring the yarn to the back and pull it through. And then we'll do a simple stitch. And then a purl. And then a simple. Mhm. Need to put a little stopper on the end of my cord. I hate that it makes so much noise. There we go. All right, so I just talked, and often that's when I forget what I'm doing. If you do that, ways to recognize. So the simple stitch just goes straight up. The purl stitch has this little bump. And if you're a knitter, that looks like a little pearl bump. So I've just finished, there's my little pearl bump. So I've finished a purl stitch. Now it's simple and then purl. S Simple. And you should end with a simple before your center increase. And then we'll do a full, a knit, and a full. And then we repeat on the other side, again, beginning with the purl stitch. We'll purl. And I think when we did the purl stitch first, I realized that my purl stitch can be a little bit tight. So I know it'll be a little snug on the return pass. And I try to hold it down here to give it a little extra slack so it's not so tight, but I don't always succeed. All right, that seems like that's far enough. So you would finish with a simple stitch, and then you would do, I'm going to pretend I'm at the end, a full, and then we're going to call this an edge stitch, chain one, and then return pass. So that is your whole pattern row. There's not a series of rows. It's just the same pattern row. Come on. Get across here. Okay. And then oh, and my last one. Okay. So now, make sure I'm getting that full stitch in the right spot. There's my full stitch for my new row. Start with a purl. Which is going into the full stitch from the row below. And I should be putting a knit on top of a purl. And I can see that little purl bump. I'm sorry, a simple on top of a purl. And I can see that little purl bump, so I'm on track. So simple on top of there. This was a simple one before, so this time it's going to be a purl. So that's what you're looking for, that you're doing the opposite of what you did the previous row. And it works because you do an increase, and that offsets it. Simple. Let me pull out some more yarn. Okay, that's a simple right there. So that one gets a purl. And then simple. I definitely make my purls tighter than my simple stitches. That was a purl. That's a simple. Purl. And now you're going to come to this one. We just did a purl. This looks like a simple, but it was actually a full stitch. So we are going to do that as a simple stitch, which is how we should end. So even though it doesn't look like it's a purl, it was a full stitch from the row below. So it gets a simple, and then we make another full stitch and a knit stitch. And another full stitch. And we'll start with a purl, which is going into the full stitch from the row below. And here we have a purl stitch, so that gets the simple. So it should work out that way each time. Let me get to the end here and do my return pass. So you can see the honeycomb start to take shape. And I do think you need like 3 rows to really get a full honeycomb. So that was a simple, full, edge, chain 1. So after every increase, you're always going to start with a purl stitch, and before your next increase, you're going to end with a simple stitch. I don't know why I make the return pass so hard on myself here. There we go. So you'll do this pattern row a total of 5 times, which isn't much. Let's get this lying in the right direction here. There we go. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we can see it at the end of the second return. I'm gonna zoom in just a little. There you go. So you're getting the honeycomb effect. So now, because we've added another increase, it should work out again for a full stitch, putting a purl stitch into what had been the full stitch from the row below. And now I'm ready for a simple, and that is going on top of a purl stitch. So that works out. So that's like your little self-check that it's gonna come out. Is that you're putting the simples on top of pearls and pearls on top of simples all the way across. And when you get to the end, your last, this will be here's my center. This will be a purl stitch. This will be a simple stitch, even though it doesn't look like it had been a purl. It's because it had been the full stitch.
Mhm.
So we simple stitch that one, make our knit stitch. Same thing on the other side, make our full stitch. Start with a purl and work our way across. So it should work out on both sides. If it's not, then somewhere something has gone wrong. That's your check for that, because it won't end up looking like the little honeycomb. And I have a Tunisian sweater that in one part I did get screwed up, and it does not look like a honeycomb. But it's going to stay that way because it's in the back, and I don't care about the back. Any questions about the honeycomb stitch?
Does Tunisian crochet grows more than regular crochet when you stretch it?
So I think it depends on the stitch. So it's definitely, Tunisian is definitely a firmer fabric than
Oh, it is.
regular crochet because it's almost double layered. And it's a little bit more woven. It has a more of a woven feel to it. So if I were to use the same size hook and do crochet stitches and Tunisian crochet, it would look very different. That's why you always go up a hook size for Tunisian because it's just a
Okay.
firmer, otherwise it becomes very, very firm.
Okay.
So I would never use what am I on here? An eye hook with a sport weight yarn, unless I wanted something super open and loose and very lacy and holey. But this does not look super loose or lacy or holey because of Tunisian stitches.
Okay.
Yeah. So although it still has plenty of stretch, I'll be able to block this because I'm using a good hook size for this. But if I had gone down a hook size, it would probably not stretch as much.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good question. Any other questions?
So we'll see you again. Is the third Monday, isn't it?
What's that?
Is
Yes.
it the third Monday?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me get back to my actual screen here. There we go. Yeah, I think it's July. It's like towards the end of July, July 28th.
Okay.
Um, that we'll be meeting again. And that time we're going to do 2 stitches. We're going to do the one that is just like knitting
Mm-hmm.
and another two-tone one. It's called
Okay.
two-tone, another two-color one. So, yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll be more than halfway done.
Mhm. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording here.